start it off. Well, the general manager of the Mets, Sandy Alderson, is here. Sandy, always good to see you. We got a little baseball, a little sunshine. I guess things are feeling good, huh?
Yeah, we finally got some game action today. It was an inter-squad game, but saw some good things, and happy to get started formally tomorrow.
Yeah, this was going to be the year. You've been here and been trying to get this team back to prominence, and the report today said that you had mentioned, hey, this team should win 90 games. Bottom line, you expect this team to be good, and I want to know why you think this team can be good and take that next step.
Well, first of all, I think it's important where we are currently, turning the corner, emphasizing winning, to establish goals for ourselves, and goals that are lofty, but nonetheless achievable. One of the reasons for setting those goals is that it then forces you to figure out how you're going to get there. And that's an important part of the process as well. So, look, I think we've got the talent. I think we've got the leadership. I think we've got the motivation, the character, player by player. The clubhouse this year has been phenomenal to this point. And if things go our way, I don't see any reason why we can't be very successful. Will we be successful? That's a function of how well we perform, how well we manage, how well we oversee things. And yet setting those goals are important to making sure that we do the right things to get there.
Now, it's interesting, setting those goals higher means, maybe taking some more chances, things like that. But also, this has been so much about developing these players. And we see it now because in camp there's so many homegrown players. So where is the line in terms of, maybe pushing some of those younger pitchers on the line and still maybe thinking about developing them if it's the right decision? How do you balance that now?
Well, one of the things we've done in the offseason is to bring in some veteran players who don't necessarily preclude some of our younger players from actually earning a place on the team. So, starting pitching wise, in the pen, we haven't guaranteed contracts. We haven't given positions and roles to players we bring in from outside. They're competing, and we want that competition for our young guys. But we also want to push them and hope that possibly they can take on those roles as well. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, but we feel very comfortable with the young guys that we have, whether immediately at the beginning of the season or sometime during the season, that they can make a contribution. That's our depth. And I think if you look at last year, we started to play better when we started to bring some of the young guys up.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of how we start this season, we will have the depth, particularly in the pitching area, to bring guys up over the course of the season to maintain whatever momentum we're able to achieve.
That's exciting. Now let's move to shortstop. Let's start with the free agent, Stephen Drew. I know there's been talk about him and some dialogue, but what are the circumstances, as he's still out there, that would have to happen that you could see him in a Mets uniform?
Well, there are two considerations here. One is our evaluation of him or anybody as a player, and the second would be financial considerations. We've done our evaluation of him and others as a player, and we've set our sort of financial parameters accordingly. He has certain goals that he wants to achieve from a financial standpoint. We understand that. But we have to balance sort of what we have against what we're getting and what the relative cost might be. And so from our standpoint, we haven't had a meeting of the minds yet, and we may never have a meeting of the minds. In the meantime, we look at other possibilities as well.
Sure.
But, we have, I would say, a reasonable amount of confidence in Ruben. Ruben, despite recent reports, spent a lot of time in Michigan over the offseason, working hard, several hours a day. We think he's in better overall condition than he has been. But most importantly, he demonstrated a commitment to the game and to us. And we want to see how that plays out.
He certainly did what you asked, and that's a good start.
Yeah.
How about at first base? I think it's fair to say that Ike Davis and Lucas Duda, you kind of have at least an idea of what they can be if they're good.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how do you evaluate spring training and make a determination who is the better fit at first base?
Well, the trap in spring training is that and whether in this competition or any other, somebody plays extremely well in spring training, and that's not indicative of long-term performance.
Yeah.
The nice thing is, in these cases, we have some flexibility. So if we decide on one and it doesn't work out later, it doesn't mean that we will have had to do something with the other. I'm trying to emphasize the competition at this point. I think it'll work itself out. As I said, because we have some flexibility, there probably will be a lot of emphasis placed on what happens in spring training.
Is Noah Syndergaard on the same plan as Matt Harvey or Zach Wheeler, or is he a little bit accelerated? Does he have a chance to make this team in camp?
I wouldn't say he's on the same plan as Harvey and Wheeler because he hasn't pitched in AAA at this point. We'll see how he does when he goes to Las Vegas. Obviously, he's a very important prospect for us, and not somebody that we want to handle without real care. But I think it's unlikely that he makes the team out of spring training. But he pitched very well today in an inter-squad game. We'll see how it plays out over the next 4 or 5 appearances.
Guys don't make teams based off inter-squad games. Is that what you're telling me?
Not recently. Not that I can remember.